perhaps I could get some agreements. It's an agreement with yourself. The way I make an agreement with myself, I make a decision and I snap. Am I going to open up sets tonight? Yeah, of course I am. How many? I don't know. Am I going to do a dozen? I'm going to tell you right now, I'm most likely not going to do a dozen because, I'll be watching other people do sets. Also, my sets last long. I'm going to go for the hottest girl in the room and work my way down, right? Do you agree with the 3-second rule? The concept that it takes 3 seconds for you to assess whether she's worthy of approaching or not. Is she hot? Then approach. What if she has a boyfriend? Well, you don't know that till you open the set anyway and find out. But what if it's a 2-set, guy and a girl? Can I approach that? Yeah, of course you can. You're just going to disqualify yourself from being considered a potential suitor loud enough for him to know that you're not after his girl. Right? You may find out that they're not engaged, they're not married, that guy is just an orbiter. She needs someone to go out with. So she picked that, schmuck from work that she feels safe with. Right? If you can find out what the relationships are, then you can game proper. Right? So the way I find that out is by saying a soundbite. I like to say, so, how do you all know each other? It's a soundbite. I don't open with it, because it telegraphs a little bit of interest, right? Just by asking such a thing. But I will show that form of interest in people that have engaged me in conversation for 3 to 5 minutes. So that's when I'll do it. I'll do that soundbite. I will throw that in A3 when I'm qualifying the girl. 3 to 5 minutes in, depending on how big the set is. 3 minutes in. So how do you all know each other? To me, it's a soundbite, and it's in my audio section of my brain. So how do you all know each other? This is a tool for an artist. I think there are some 300 tools or text files in my brain. Okay, well, there's way more than that, but 300 of them, this is give or take, is what it takes to have a robust pickup system in your head so you have enough shit to throw at them, right? And enough, enough outs. Like, for instance, you go into a 2-set and you say, so how long have you known each other? And they say, oh, we were married 7 years. At that point, you don't have to go, sorry. I wasn't hitting on them. All I need is an out. So my out in a situation like that is, well, the reason why I ask is because my girlfriend is a twin. And she thinks she can finish her twin sister's sentences because of some sort of psychic connection. I think it's because they know each other so well. So how long, again, have you known each other? 7 years, you say. You've been married 7 years. So is it true? Do you know each other well enough to finish each other's sentences? So I'm already safe. I've already said I too am in a relationship. I'm safe. But I can still engage in conversation with a couple. In fact, the truth is, have you ever gone to a public gathering with a girl? Nobody wants to talk to you. You're in a club, it's just you and her, and it's boring. But you went to Miami, you're with your girl, it's the weekend, you took her out someplace, you got some wine in her gullet, and now you can't talk to anybody, now you can't do anything, now you feel trapped. There are guys that are going to feel trapped tonight. They're going to be there with their girl. They're going to use assholes who come in and hit on her as an opportunity for him to show the bravado, that's my girl, right? Well, yeah, you have your girl, we all have our girls. We're all happy. We're just out here shooting shit for shits and giggles. Make sense? So you can open up virtually any set. Fair? 3-second rule. Are we agreeing to abide by the 3-second rule, at least for the next 6 weeks? Mm-hmm. If the universe presents an opportunity, you're going to open it, work it. You don't have to close it. You don't have to get the girl. But you have to open it. What about at a store? Young kids. Hey, did you hear about the new baby, the royal baby? You can talk to kids about that. You can talk to old ladies. You're not hitting on anybody. That's the beauty of indirect, is you're not hitting on them. You're doing the exact opposite. You're just initiating the conversation, telegraphing disinterest, specifically that girl-boy dynamic. Here's another soundbite I love to use. I say to the girl, let's turn that girl-boy dynamic off for now, so we can be, for lack of a better word, spiritual. Like it's Christmas. I love saying that, because if I'm the one to turn the girl-boy dynamic off, now she has to be the one to try to turn it on. She even goes there in her mind, because I'm saying, let's turn that girl-boy dynamic off. It's such a high-value male behavior to actually do that on a girl who's particularly hot. It's like, yeah, you're beautiful, I'm beautiful, we're all gorgeous. But let's turn that girl-boy dynamic off, because I'm here with friends. The last thing that my deck of cards needs is more cards. You know, I got a full deck of cards. I've got all the friends I need. It's nice to have a couple extra wild cards. Maybe you're that. But if you're from another deck, nothing personal, but I got my friends here. By my saying that, by literally saying that, I encourage her to try to get in, to try to meet my friends. Make sense? You know, I don't not touch the girl. This is a timeline, okay? We're starting here from meet all the way to sex. A lot of guys, you know, they're with the girl, but they don't touch her, they don't touch her, they don't touch her, and then finally, they go for the kiss. And now it's this big thing. It's like, oh no, oh, hand holding. Has that ever felt uncomfortable? You're going to hold the girl's hand, right? Shouldn't, pro PUAs don't feel that. We don't get that because we hold their hand soon. You know, we go kino. We get her physiologically accustomed to our touch early. You know, like I said, hug the guys, hug the girls. We'll hug the girls. Hey, you. Hey, look at you. Woo! Spin around. Put her back down safely. Are you safe? Okay. Good. So she didn't die.
Yeah, you ran up with Tyler Dunn's girlfriend.
Yeah, I just picked her. For me, thank you. Just you, of course. But I did that. Yeah. Right. So. Where was it? Oh, yes, we were talking about me. You can use it and feel tonight. No, for real, where was I? I don't know.
LMR.
LMR. Exactly. So I'll start at 10 minutes in. The main concept is when she's in bed with you, she's going to be reflecting upon all the adventures she's had with you, making an assessment, and the assessment is pretty simple. Are you going to stick around or are you going to change? Is your personality going to change after sex? Or are you still going to be attentive and caring and you're still going to open the door or at least think of her, right? I want the girl to know that my brain has been hijacked, that I can't help but think of her. 10 minutes in, let's say she goes to the washroom and she comes back, I'll say to her, want to hear something crazy? Ordinarily, when a friend of mine goes to the washroom, I'll find myself talking with other friends. But in this case, I found myself indulging in the void that you created. You created a hole. And you went to the washroom, and like a tool, I just waited for you to come back. And when you came back, I got instantly flooded with whatever made me go. I smiled. I just wanted you to know that. It's like you hijacked my brain. You know, did you put something in my drink? When I talked to her on the phone the next day, this is a part of my campaign. There's 6 or 7 routines throughout my entire Sarge. I started early. Here's another one, my pomegranate story. My sister and I, we used to fight. My older sister. We used to fight when I was a kid. And one time we were fighting over, of all things, pomegranates. I love pomegranates. So does my sister. My mother bought 2 pomegranates. One for her, one for me. Well, if you know anything about pomegranates, you know that they're messy. So once you start picking on them, and you're opening it up, and you're taking all these little seeds out, putting them into a bowl, it's messy. So I figured at the time, I don't know, it's somehow fun, like playing Minesweeper. Like there's a zen to pomegranate cleaning, right? By the way, the best way to do it is fill water in the sink and do it underwater, and then all the yellow parts float up, right? It's faster that way. So this was before that. Before I knew that was the secret to keeping it clean. My hands were dirty, and I decided my sister's pomegranate was there. I made one for her as well. Just shrink wrapped it, put it in the fridge. Well, when she came home and discovered that her pomegranate was missing, she shouted at me, thinking that I ate it. And I'm like, no, it's in the fridge. No, it's not. It's not. I looked. It is. It's in a bowl in the fridge. And she said, well, why'd you do that? I'm like, I don't know. You're my sister. I love you. I felt like I was doing them anyway. I figured I'd do yours too. Put it in there. I also, added some, what we normally do is we add some honey to it. If you add honey and a squeeze of lemon, it's amazing, really. And if you want to cut up some kiwi, put that in. It becomes more like a salad rather than just plain old. So that's what I had done. I set it up, since I made mine, and I know that there's the proper amount of honey to put on, not too much, not too little, just enough. That was when we stopped fighting. We were growing up, I don't know, I forget how old I was, 13, 12, 13, before puberty anyway. And she's older than me by 7 years or so. So there came a point in life where we stopped fighting, and that is my, earliest recollection of my getting along with my sister. She ended up becoming my PA for pickup artist, paid for by VH1. So I mean, like, she really is a part of my life, right? And we don't fight, but we used to, and that was when we stopped fighting. So I bring this story up, tell it to a girl, and say, the reason why I bring this up is I went to the store today, and I went to buy some drinks, fill my fridge, and some of the drinks that I buy aren't for me, they're for my friends, right? My buddy Style, he likes Corona, so I fill, the fridge with Corona, even though I don't drink beer. I don't drink Corona. I mean, I drink beer, but I don't drink Corona. I do it for them, right, for my friends. Well, I went there thinking, well, you might come over. I'm not sure, I'm not presuming anything, but if you did, I thought I'd want to have, your drink in the fridge. But I got pissed off because I was at the grocery store trying to think of how do I call you and say, I'm buying drinks for you. I don't, I just wanted to have it there in case you came over. I'd have your favorite drink, In the same way that back when I was doing magic shows, I had an agent, and my, birthday party magic show agent back when I was early 20s would fill the fridge with Pepsi. I didn't do Coke, right? And the artist is, the rock star gets, the drugs from the manager or the agent, they keep them all hopped up. Well, for me, it was just Pepsi, literally Pepsi, cans of Pepsi. But that's what they did for me, right? And this is what I do for my friends. Well, so I bought you a pomegranate. That's it. That's that routine. But I throw that in on my day 2, right? One more quick example, I'll make it short and sweet, is when you tell a girl that they were in your dream. Girls do this all the time, right? You weren't. They just like you. That might be a wake-up call. Yeah. Has that ever happened where a girl says, oh, I had a dream that you were in? What she's meaning to say is, I want to have sex with you.
That's happened to him. Put your hand up. I know because you told me about it. Put your hand up.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, she wanted to have sex with you. That's what that is.
She had a boyfriend as well, so...
Sure.
She might bring him along.
Was he in the dream?
No.
Then he wasn't in the dream. Fair enough. So when I, call up a girl and say, "Are you all right?" Yeah, I'm fine. Okay, well, I'm just telling you this because oftentimes it takes several months of knowing somebody before they would actually show up as a character in my dream state. It's like that. It takes several months. My family members, my friends, my loved ones, they're in my dreams, but not strangers, not new people, right? But I had a dream that you were in it, and to be honest, it started hot and heavy and it was all good. And then there was some guy that came into the picture that you knew, so I was being respectful to your friend, but then he started, yelling at you and grabbing you and hitting you, and it was just one of those moments in my dream where, you'd think it was a sexual dream. No, it wasn't. It was one of those fighting dreams. And I just bring this up because I beat this asshole. It was just the rudest. It was one of those situations where, the guy had knives, and I was fighting against the man with knives, and I won. And I was that, I don't want to think that way. I'm a lover, not a fighter, but that's what my dream was. So, I just had to call you and find out, are you okay? Because, I don't know if there's psychic, what kind of psychic connections exist in the world, but I felt something. I needed to call you and make sure you're fine. You've hijacked my brain. So that's the concept, is you do several of these You've Hijacked My Brain stories as a part of the big You've Hijacked My Brain campaign in an effort to get past last-minute resistance.
From as early as A2,
From as
A3.
early as A3. You know, when she has to have earned it.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So once she's qualified. So I don't know, 5 minutes in, 10 minutes in, 10, tops. 10 minutes in, I'll start that off. That's the beginning of my last-minute resistance training. I can talk more about LMR. One thing I will do, though, right now is just go over very quickly what the phases are so that you know what they are. Because what is pickup? You know, it's not like these are my phases that I pulled them out of my ass. You know, and any of the books that I've written, these were backwards engineered from what works. These aren't my phases. These are a woman's phases. First phase, open. We use openers. Tools for an artist. You need 300 text files in your head. Some of them will be one-liners. Some of them will be small paragraphs. Some of them will be 10-minute-long games, like Murder, Marry, Shag. Have you heard of Murder, Marry, Shag?
Yeah.
Right? It's a Howard Stern thing. It's great to use in field. If you haven't used it in field yet, write it on your cheat sheet. Throw a cheat sheet in your back pocket. Get into the habit of using a cheat sheet. Get your material up to speed. You're training for the Playboy Mansion, gentlemen. All of us, let's go get some extraordinarily hot girls. Tonight, tomorrow, the next night, this is just practice. We're just practicing for a time in the future. When the hottie comes and you'll be able to get her because of the material that you've gotten up to speed. Right? What else? The fight going forever. Phases, exactly. So, opening is the first phase, what I call A1. A is for attraction. There's three phases to each of 3 stages. 3 stages: traction, comfort, seduction. Those are the 3 stages. You can't begin in comfort because then you're the next guy, the nice guy. It doesn't work. It works on 7s and 8s, you know, wishy-washy game. But if you want to go for really, really beautiful women that are going to shoot you down before you have a chance to speak, and they will do that because they've been hit on 15 times by the time you arrived that day. Working in comfort, in the world of comfort, open with that, they won't indulge in it. They won't even let you. You have to work in attraction first so that her attraction will buy time for comfort. Right? A lot of guys, they start at the end. They start with seduction. You know, direct game. It's possible. It's just not probable in a group. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to ask at some point, what do you think about?
Awesome, great guy. Yeah, I have a lot of history with him. You know,
Okay.
he was a that had the courage for like 6 months to just bomb. His act sucked, but with respect, just because he was young, yeah, right. But he had the guts to go up on stage. He did a 10-minute set, bomb, which was great. You know, amateur. You know, he learned, got good that way. But he didn't have the courage to open girls, even a girl by herself. He couldn't talk to girls. He could work 50 people in his act, but couldn't work girls. So over a 3-week period, we worked on that. We got laid, and you know, he got good. Yeah, he focuses on day game as a market differentiation, but it doesn't mean he doesn't work night game. You know, he knows how to work groups. He can work big groups. He's a comedian. Very good. It's funny.
If a girl tries to shoot you down before you talk, what you do?
I'm ready for that. I'm definitely ready for that. I'm ready to shoot her down first, right? So I'm prepared with my negs.
Yeah.
To me, a neg is a lot like having a pebble, where I'm going to shoot it at her forehead, and I'm not waiting for the response. You know, like for instance, if I say, "Oh, you little," I'm not throwing that pebble at her forehead, waiting for it to bang, to hit, watching it happen, and waiting for her to respond. It isn't like that. It's more dismissive. Oh my God, there's no off button on her. Okay, get this. So there I am. I'm climbing up to touch the Hollywood sign. A girlfriend of mine, gorgeous. If you're into girls, you know. I don't know if you are, but if you were, you're going to rate her from 1 to 10. I'd rate her 9.5 easy. Notice how I'm now uploading my DHBs. I've just thrown my neg. I've already, you know, rejected, and I continue uploading those DHBs because that's what triggers attraction, right? I'm less concerned with the neg. If I throw the neg and I wait for a response, the response will be, "You're an asshole." You know, it'll be negative. I'm not concerned. I don't want to concern myself with that. I just want to throw it like a little kid, you know, do a little hand slap. Give me your hand. That's right. And continue talking. All right, that's how I deal with this next. Okay, so in A1, we've got the tool of opening. I need openers, short stories. If they're indirect, you're not saying nice shoes, because their answer will be, thanks, my boyfriend bought them for me. Right? Short stories that initiate the conversation, don't telegraph interest. Also, false time constraints. I can only stay a second here. I got my friends. I got to rejoin my friends in a moment. False time constraints create the illusion that you're not a bum. You don't want to open with, excuse me. That's called the vagrant's opener. How many of you have opened with excuse me before? To open with excuse me is to already tell them that you need an excuse. Excuse me.
We've all done it.
Yeah. I'm sorry to bother you. You're apologizing for being a bother. How do you feel now? Excuse me. They'll stitch them together. Excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you, but I was wondering if I could ask you a question. Don't ask to ask. Ask. Better yet, don't ask. Tell. Be opinionated. Have an opinion.
That only works in Texas if you've got an English or Irish accent. I'm so sorry, the Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to bother you, but could you possibly tell me the time, please? Oh my God, it was such a cock. Only time that works.
The damn English accent is such a cheat in the middle of America. So let's not open with the vagrant's opener. Let's open with one good way is you have to get their attention, of course, by saying, hey guys, a quick thought. I like doing statements rather than questions, rather than opinions. Just statements. I like saying things that are current emotional state conveying, such as an opener, I have a Jaeger in my belly. Actually, I drank two. I drank 2 shots. I got 2 Jaegers in there. They're fighting each other, right? They're fighting for dominance. And I think this one over here is winning. Oh, this one's winning now. Current emotional state is being conveyed, right? Playful. I like to act drunk. Act drunk and feel, because you can get away with more. You can do more. I can do anything. Yes, I can. The longer you do it, funnier it is. Is this one right?
I'm just drunk.
Yeah, and you've got plausible deniability. I'm drunk, right? Whatever it takes, because they're gonna all be drunk, but be sober enough to get that girl into a lock-in position, sit down, right, and make sure that the obstacles are occupying each other, or another set is occupying them, or your wingmen or whatever, or wing women. Throw women on women. Much better. Right, so we talked a little bit about opening. Opening is supposed to get you to the next phase, which is female to male attract. I'm going to demonstrate higher value, the 5 key ones. That's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to trigger those 5 in any story, any way. I'm going to say it slowly, but I'm going to get them done in an effort to get indicators of interest from her. During A2, I DHB and neg. I'll have a balance of that. I picture it like 80-20 or 90-10. Most of it is DHB, so I can get IOIs from her, right? Peppered in with some negs so that they know that I'm not a kiss ass. Because if there's like the 4 of you here, right? And I'm like, nice to you. Oh, you do this? Oh, no way. Oh, we get along great. Oh, we get along great. Oh, we get along great. Oh, well, we get along great too. Now I'm a kiss ass. But if it's like, oh, we get along great. Yeah, we get along great. We get along great too, right? Now there's tension. And the one that I create the tension with is the hottest one, is the one I'm after. Right? They don't think I'm after her. They think that we don't get along. There's a little bit of the drama there, but we get along with everyone else. Get along, If I get along with everyone, someone can f with me. If I purposely choose not to get along with one person, they're going to be caught off guard of that. They're not going to, someone else isn't going to throw that tension into the set with me, right? Now I can have this girl redeem herself. There's no off button on her. How do you actually roll with her if she interrupts every time you speak? How do you do that? How can you hang? You need crayons and a helmet. Here's the corner. Right? Get that tension. We're brand new to each other. Come join me for a second. I have a thought I'm going to share with you. Here, come join. That's as an example. Is it all right if I borrow her for a couple minutes? I will bring her back. That's my promise to you, her, and her mom. I just have a thought I'd like to share with you. Now I've got permission, I've got peer approval to isolate her from her group so that I can then take her aside and say, you know I'm not drunk, right? You know that I've been like acting drunk because you, Miss Popular, have been surrounded by all these men who are drunk and slatterly, all, you know, drooling over you, and I had to pull you out of there and find out if there's more to you than meets the eye, is there? Let me tell you, I got a short attention span. All right, you're losing. I need a reason to isolate. All right? That tension. Get her up, trying to retain herself, and it's in qualifying. Now we're moving forward to the third phase. In the second phase, DHVs, peppered in some necks. I'm looking for IOIs. In the third phase, I'm qualifying. It's a mirror opposite of A2. In this one, I am encouraging her to DHV me. It's called baiting. I'm baiting her to say stuff to me that I can give her IOIs for having said. In other words, I'm going to hit on her. I'm going to compliment her. I'm just going to not compliment anatomy. I'm going to stay away from anatomy. They're all hot at the Playboy Mansion. Big deal. They all have big fake titties. Right? I want her to say something that I can then hug her for, that I can reward her for having said. And that's my positive misinterpretation of it. Whatever it is that she says, I'm going to go, no way. You know, what nationality are you? German? Oh my God, no way. I can't even talk to you. And that's a release that happens in A3. You can't just hit. The power of any Kino escalation is in the roll. Right? How long is qualifying? 8 to 12 minutes. At least. It isn't 3 minutes like in A2. It's fast, 3 to 5, depending on the size of the set. It's longer, it's slower. I want the girl to really chase me and feel like when she asks for my number and I'll say, yeah, I'll give it to you. She will burn to get my number because I'm not giving it to her now. I'm like, I'll give it to you. Yeah, well, before I leave, you'll get my number and you'll feel all so satisfied for grabbing another number like the way I work. 5 minutes. Stick around. We'll call it. Because I'm not going through every phase. I'm just getting to the main point here, which is the whole point of pickup is comfort. This game is won in comfort. Ultimately, yeah, you want to sit with the girl one-on-one with permission. All of the friends are gone. I want to sit with the girl down here, you know, arm in arm, let's say, right? Getting to know each other. That's that lock-in, that sit-down. That's ultimately what we want to get to with every set at some point. Before she turns into your girlfriend, wouldn't it be nice to sit down one-on-one and spend some time with her? Just don't try to open that way, because it might not work. You have friends there. You don't know who's with her. You have to find that out, right? Let's try that A3 soundbite, since we're talking about A3. So, how do you all know each other? I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and then you all say it back to me, okay? 1, 2, 3.
So, how do you all know each other?
Perfect. Let's do it one more time.
So, how do you all know each other?
Good. One more time.
So, how do you all know each other?
Perfect. That's a soundbite. It's like a little pebble, a little tool for an artist. So, how do you all know each other? It's going to need to be thrown out at some point so you can find out who's who. Don't use it on the open. Use it sometime in A3. At the beginning of A3, I'll be asking questions like, is there more to you than meets the eye? You know, beautiful young lady, but beauty's common. Catch him up to speed. You know, what's it been like being on this good earth? You know, do you give it 50-50, good versus evil, 60-40? How's it been? How's it been? You know, a lot of guys think that there's no commonality. I don't know those people. Well, the one person you can trust to be there when you get there is you. But you also have commonality with all those people. You're on a sphere. There's a commonality. I have a commonality with every one of you. We are on a